When I first started sewing, I did not feel ready to start spending money on sewing patterns, but I wanted to start learning how to use them. And so I'm going to give you some of my favorite resources for free sewing patterns or follow along videos to draft your own, which I do find very helpful so that you can begin your sewing journey without spending the money if you're not ready for that yet. So first off, I would say thrift stores, but not just any thrift store. There are a lot of crafting thrift stores out there. For example, some websites like this where they list all different craft thrift stores all throughout the United States. And I'm sure there's websites that do this for other countries. I have found upwards of 100 sewing patterns at this point for free or for maybe 50 cents each at general thrift stores like Goodwill, but at my local craft thrift store, which is less than like 5 minutes away from my home, which I'm so thankful for, they have free sewing patterns there. That does come with a few cons because sometimes you have to sort through them and they've maybe already been cut into or a size has been cut out. But for being free, I can't complain about any of that. I'm so thankful to have access to that. I would also mention Facebook Marketplace. I have also found probably a couple dozen free sewing patterns on Facebook Marketplace. For physical patterns, that's where I would start. One excellent place to start is on the website Threadloop. It's kind of like a whole database for sewing, so people can post their reviews about a sewing pattern and then it gives access to other people who sew so that they can kind of comb through those. I did today just find an ability to filter for only the free patterns, which is amazing because then you can really get whatever you want. I have really found that a lot of patterns that you pay for have a free dupe. Definitely not always to the extent of like the tailoring or the all the little details, but there are many patterns where you can get at least a similar silhouette, and that might be a good place to start. So Threadloop, filtering by free, and then you can see lots of patterns, and then you can also see reviews that other people have left. If you search for the free pattern Reddit, I can pretty much assure you that there is someone else out there who has already looked for that exact thing. And so you will be able to probably find what you need on there. It's a really great resource. And if you have questions, if you're looking for like a specific tiered skirt or something like that, that is a really good way to get on that Reddit page and figure that out. Another very large resource is Mood Fabrics. They sell fabrics, but they also, probably to boost their sales, and I'm sure it works, feature a lot of free sewing patterns. The one thing that I do really love is that if you are trying to self-draft something, I would definitely recommend going to Mood Fabrics and finding something similar, and you can follow along with the instructions that they've laid out for their free patterns. So if you are trying to make like a V-neck dress and you're not really sure how to finish the inside facing or what step to do, are you supposed to hem it first or are you supposed to attach at the shoulders? I feel like following their directions is a really nice way to self-draft with making less mistakes and saving yourself some time. Another great website with a lot of free patterns is Unfettered Patterns. It looks like this is one designer or pattern maker who is putting these on a blog, and it's so nice because there's a lot of free ones and they are very cute and trendy. There's a few that I definitely want to make for my spring and summer sewing. So Unfettered Patterns would be another great place to start, and it looks like there's a lot of people across Instagram and TikTok who have made these and have left good reviews. Another resource is Peppermint Magazine. Now, they don't have a large myriad of free patterns, but they do have a pay what you can option on some of their patterns. So some of them you can get for free. If you are able to pay, I would say that that might be a nice option so that, they can get some money for this great service that they are providing. But Peppermint Magazine does provide some pay what you can options, and there are some of their patterns that you can elect to do $0 if that is the position that you are in. One resource that I have found very helpful is just going to the library. For example, Threads magazine always features some free patterns in their magazine. So unless it's okay with your library, I probably wouldn't go about tearing them out. However, I have done this before. I have just traced out the pattern from the magazine itself onto something like parchment paper, or if you have tracing paper, and that is a good option if you don't want to go out and purchase a pattern. A few social media follows that feature a lot of self-drafting tips or follow along instructions so that you can get something that you are not paying for. One of my favorite Instagram follows is VRO Sews. She posts a lot of things that she has made, but she gives you the exact instructions on how to measure yourself and then sew it up. And she does it all within like a couple minute quick video, but it makes sense. And I find that if you pause it and are able to follow along with the instructions, then you can make your own stuff that looks really good and that fits you exactly how it should on your body. Another YouTube channel that I just came across recently, actually on the Reddit page, is Dianthus Sewing. It looks like she does a really good job of laying out the instructions, letting you self-draft, but then also following along and doing all the sewing yourself. Last but not least, this is my favorite YouTube channel probably ever. I talk about her quite a lot because I really feel like her videos are where I started to learn to sew, and that is Jess Dang's channel. I haven't seen her posting a lot of new updates recently. I know that she just had a baby, so I'm sure she's focusing on that, but her videos are really evergreen. I have made multiple things that I have self-drafted based off of the instructions that she gives, and my clothes have turned out really well. I really enjoy the self-drafting process following along on her videos because I do feel like it teaches me a lot of things about construction that I never would have learned otherwise. So I hope this was all helpful for you. If you are a beginner, don't feel intimidated by the pattern process. It can be hard, but it's a lot harder to self-draft and make mistakes and feel discouraged. So just keep that in mind and it will come to you. I've only been sewing for 2.5 or 3 years now, and I do feel like I have it down, but 3 years ago, I never would have been able to tell you how to use a sewing pattern or anything like that. So just chip away at it a little bit at a time, and I'm sure that you will get a lot better as time goes on. I really enjoyed having you here making this video. As you can see behind me, we are painting my sewing room. This is going to become a sewing studio, so if you would like to see updates on that, please subscribe, follow along, and I will see you next time.